Hello and welcome back to No Rubbish Travel. Today we embark on a journey to the mystical land of giants and fairies, Scotland. If you are planning a week-long Scottish Highland adventure to experience the region's best natural and historic wonders, this itinerary is tailored for you. We'll journey through a land of picturesque peaks, misty mountains, winding country lanes, astonishing castles, and enchanting medieval towns. So let's dive in. On the day one, we'll arrive at Glasgow. Just outside the airport, you'll find convenient shuttle service to the city centre. A round-trip journey to the city centre from the airport will cost £15 per person. I would advise to find an accommodation near the airport, as we are staying in Glasgow only for a night and will be leaving for the Highlands early the next morning. This way you can easily rent a car outside the airport and avoid the in-city traffic in the morning hours. The city of Glasgow is a captivating blend of history and beauty. For a taste of the local life, stroll through the George Square. This square is a prominent place in the heart of the city, named after King George III. It's surrounded by historic buildings and monuments. The most popular are the statues in the George Square and the city chambers. Next, we will hunt for the stunning murals which are spread across the city walls. You can find all of them on Google Maps. These murals add a lot of character to the city. Next stop, Glasgow Cathedral. This stunning masterpiece is the oldest cathedral in Scotland, dating back to the 12th century. It's a real architectural gem with soaring spines, intricate carvings, and stained glass windows. Behind the cathedral, you'll find a peaceful cemetery called Necropolis, filled with gravestones and memorials. It's a bit spooky, but in a cool way. You can wander through the winding paths and read inscriptions on the tombstone, learning about the people who lived and died in Glasgow over centuries. Some of these graves are really old. After spending your evening in Necropolis, find a cute Scottish restaurant, have dinner, and call it a day. A bonus tip for the dessert: try some donuts at Tantrum Donuts Glasgow. I tried lime cream cheese and creme brulee, and both were amazing. Next morning, wake up early, pick your car, get some snacks, fill your water bottles, and depart for the long journey from Glasgow to Isle of Skye. This journey is so beautiful that you'll end up stopping at multiple places, and in total the journey will take 7 to 8 hours. However, the total distance is just 250 miles including little detours. We'll make our first stop in the beautiful valley of Glencoe. Glencoe is famous for its dramatic scenery, long, lush, never-ending grasslands, and huge towering peaks. There are many viewpoints in the valley of Glencoe. We cannot stop at all of them, but I have marked a couple of them here, which I found were the best. After Glencoe, we'll drive for another 41 miles to reach the Glenfinnan Viaduct. It is a majestic railway bridge located in Scottish Highlands. It is especially famous with tourists after it was featured in the Harry Potter films. You may remember it from the movie Chambers of Secret. If you time it right, you can witness the Jacobite steam train, also known as Hogwarts Express, passing through the Glenfinnan Viaduct during the day. Unfortunately, I was a bit late to climb the mountain to get the best vantage point, but I was still able to catch the train, and it was amazing. You can find the train schedule on the West Coast Railway's website. Make sure to hike around Glenfinnan Viaduct to find more picturesque spots. After Glenfinnan Viaduct, we'll hit the road again, drive another 78 miles to reach our final stop before Isle of Skye, the Eilean Donan Castle. This medieval fortress, constructed in the 18th century and recently restored to its former glory, is a breathtaking sight. Its picturesque location on a tiny island in the lake is truly astonishing. If you wish to visit the inside of the castle, the timing is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the entry fee per person is £10. As you drive into the Isle of Skye, you will be surrounded by breathtaking grasslands and towering peaks. The deep blue of the sky and the bright green of the grassland and the fluffy white fur of the sheep create perfect contrast. It is like a living painting. Isle of Skye is very remote and less populated. There are only few accommodation options here, so make sure you book in advance. There is a lot to do and see in Isle of Skye, so we will be staying here for 3 nights. The next morning, we will travel to the westernmost tip of the island, to a place called Neist Point. It offers breathtaking views of the surrounding cliffs and the Atlantic Ocean. It's like a last long stretch of land at the edge of the world, with a picturesque lighthouse at its tip. It is almost an hour-long hike from the car parking to the lighthouse, but as you can see, it's totally worth it. One amazing thing about Isle of Skye is that you will always be surrounded by two chubby sheep just grazing and chilling. The population of sheep in the island is significantly larger than the human population. Isn't that amazing? The roads of the island are narrow and mostly one lane, apart from the major highways leading to the city of Portree. Our next stop is Fairy Pools. The Fairy Pools, nestled at the base of Eilean Mountains, appear like something straight out of a folklore. As you approach, the sound of cascading water echoes through the valley, and you are met with a series of crystal clear pools, each one more magical than the last. According to the local folklore, the legends of Fae or fairies, which are the mythical beings believed to inhabit these hidden places, used to come here to bathe, hence the name Fairy Pools. The hike to the fairy pools is relatively flat. It should take around 1.5 to 2 hours in total. If you fancy taking a dip into the pools, make sure you carry your own towel and bathing suit. Just a caution, the water will be chilly as it's coming down from the mountains. Next morning, we will travel to the northern area of Skye. In this region, there are many points of attraction which you can cover in a circuit starting and ending at Portree, the main town of Skye. Our first and most important attraction for the day is the Old Man of Storr, which is a section of volcanic rocks creating its own dramatic sculpture standing tall against the dramatic backdrop of Scottish Highlands. The hike to the Old Man of Storr is a bit challenging, but the views from the top are totally worth it. The legend of Old Man of Storr says that there was once an old giant. When he died, his body was buried in the earth, but his thumb stuck out, forming the iconic rock formation we see today. And it does look like a thumb. The hike up is pretty steep. It took me almost 3 hours to go up and come down, including all the breaks. But easily, this is my favorite hike in Scotland. Once you have reached the Old Man of Storr, continue on the track and you will reach to a vantage point which offers a panoramic view of the area. After coming back from Storr, the next viewpoints are Leant Falls and Brothers Point. I skipped those and went straight to Kilt Rock Waterfall, which is a huge waterfall at the edge of a cliff. It won't take you more than 2 minutes out of the parking area to reach this waterfall. Up next, we'll go to Fairy Glen, which translates to the Valley of Fairies. This is a miniature valley with small cliffs, small mountains, small lake. Everything here is tiny and so cute. It does feel like a magical land where fairies once used to live. To end our day, we'll head to Portree, which can offer some great choices for dinner. It is the largest town in Skye, and it's a good place to catch up with civilization after roaming around in remote areas for 3 days. And this marks the end of Skye. Next morning, we will leave from Skye to Edinburgh. It's hard to say goodbye to Isle of Skye, but we have a long road ahead. This journey is about 235 miles. On the road, we will take a short detour at Kinross, which is a town an hour away from Edinburgh. As I was there in July, it was the perfect time to visit the beautiful lavender fields of Kinross. The lavenders were in the full bloom. The weather was a bit cloudy, but anyway, the fields were amazing. The entry was around £10, which included a guided tour to the Lavender distillery. After Kinross, we arrived at Edinburgh and called it a day. Next morning, we will explore the beautiful and charming city of Edinburgh. I chose to stay in Stockbridge, which is one of the quietest and peaceful places to stay in Edinburgh. From there, if you take the walkway, which is called the Water of Leith walkway, you can walk up to Dean village along the Leith River. Dean Village is a picturesque neighborhood which offers you tranquility and a good contrast to the city of Edinburgh. It has historic buildings, cobblestone streets, and a very peaceful atmosphere. You can just spend hours walking around this area and admire the old historic buildings which have rustic stone facade and charming architectural details. After exploring the Dean's Village, we will head to the historic centre of Edinburgh. There is a lot to see in the city. I started by visiting Cockburn Street, which headed to the Royal Mile, and the Royal Mile leads you to St. Giles Cathedral and the Edinburgh Castle. Right next to Edinburgh Castle, you'll find this Edinburgh University, which is worth a quick visit, as it will give you some Hogwarts vibes, and it is an architectural marvel. After that, we will head to the most famous street in Edinburgh, which is Victoria Street. It is a beautiful setting with colorful row of restaurants and bars and cobblestone street. Make sure you visit the terrace of the street to admire it from above. Right after Princess Street, you will find Greyfriars Bobby and the statue of the Greyfriars Bobby dog. I'll let you read the story about this dog yourself. Just behind this, you will find Greyfriars Graveyard, which is one of the most famous graveyard in the world, and it is believed that J.K. Rowling took inspiration for a lot of character names from this graveyard. For instance, you will find Tom Riddle's grave here. Edinburgh has a lot to offer and a lot to show in a single video. Some other must-visit places in Edinburgh are the Edinburgh Castle and the museum inside, Arthur's Seat, National Museum of Scotland, Calton Hill, Palace of Holyrood House, the Royal Botanical Gardens, and Edinburgh Zoo. Also, you must visit at least one distillery when in Scotland. Some good options are Glenfiddich Distillery, the Macallan Distillery, Talisker Distillery in the Isle of Skye, or any other. These are my two favorite restaurants in Edinburgh: Mucker's Smash Bar at Royal Mile and Hamilton's at Stockbridge. And this cute dessert place serves amazing ice cream spaghetti sundaes. In the evening, we took a stroll through this beautiful lane called the Circus Lane. And that is all from Edinburgh and all from my Scotland itinerary. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments so I can answer them. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more such informative and no rubbish travel itineraries.